Okay, this one might not be too exciting to many, but it's an Apple video. But I think it's interesting, so I wanted to share it. Um, so I have mini green crab apples. What is what I think these are. Um, they weren't really labeled at the store, but they're tiny apples. So generally that means they're crab apples, from what I understand. Um, and I've already had some. They are delicious. But I wanted to have them again and describe what what is happening when I tried these. Um, so they're green apples, but they're not like tart like a Granny Smith. Um, the flavor just kind of the sweetness kind of overwhelms at least the one I've already had. So I'm gonna try these really tiny ones that are almost the size of a cherry, just about, and then I'll try this one and see if there's really any difference. And I'll report back. This one's harder to bite into. So this one's gotten softer on the outside. It's a little more overripe. So that flavor is kind of dissipated. That's a shame. But this one still has a pretty firm skin. So I think it's going to have that flavor. Yeah, there it is. You get that initial crunch, of course. So there's, if you didn't know, there are different types of apples there that are bred for different things. For instance, dessert apples that you would get off of the shelf might not necessarily be the best apple to go into a pie. Those ones are likely going to have a different texture and flavor. And those apples are bred, generally speaking, for that purpose. There are apples bred for pies, bred for different desserts, and bred to be desserts that you would get from the shelf. And then on top of that, there are apples. This gets into the grocery store dynamic. Obviously, the apples that you get on the shelf in the grocery store are bred to have a strong skin and resist bruising and have a long shelf life. So they're not necessarily bred for flavor. They're bred for that industry mass production. But that's getting into a whole another topic. Let me bring it back to this guy. I just wanted to talk about that little tangent while we were addressing apple types. So this one, the inside has speaking of apple textures, there are some that are kind of more chalky and gritty. This is softer and not chalky. It's like kind of a balance between chalky and sandy. If it weren't for the fact that it was so juicy, it would give you kind of a sandy texture. Like I can tell that if it wasn't so juicy, it would have a more sandy texture to it. But the thing that strikes me about these, and why I wanted to talk about them, was these taste how I imagine anything caramel apple flavored tastes. Like I feel like this is the taste. Like those caramel apple candy pops, they taste like this. Like this is the flavor in its natural form, and it's fantastic. Like it's got that caramel apple flavor nuance to it, and it's like that is so ingrained in my brain that like there's no caramel here, obviously, so it's hitting all those notes and stopping just short of the caramel part of that spectrum. I was just very surprised by that. I'm trying to get every little morsel out of it. I am not exactly sure what this variety is called. It may be just green crab apples, or I'm going to try and dig a little bit deeper. But if you know what it's called, please share it in the comments, and if I can figure out a little bit more about what they're called, I'll probably change the video title later on and add to the description. But these are great. No, I've just got like a bunch of seeds in my mouth. Anyway, just wanted to share that. These taste like caramel apples. These would probably be delicious if I were to dip them in caramel. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.